Alright, I'm going to show you, I'm going to try to do it all in this video. Hopefully it doesn't go too long because I'm talking too much. This is going to be lower body, all the stuff that has not made it to your exercise guide. So there's going to be a lot of resistance band exercises. Since I'm already down on the floor though, or on the ground, I'm going to go ahead and show you the glute bridge march and the glute bridge isometric hold. I've already showed you how to do a glute bridge in one of the abs videos, because even though this is on your lower body routine, it's also an abs exercise or a core exercise as well. But I'll just go over it real quick. You're going to go on your back, feet planted like this. You're going to be tripoding through the ground. You're going to lie on your back, make your posterior tilts, hands down on the floor or ground or whatever, and you're going to keep that tilt. You're going to think about scooping your hips up. So you're not going to worry about what your stomach's doing. It's all about this right here. You're thinking about just scooping it up. Like that. Okay? So that's just a regular old glute bridge. Now, if I were to just hold that for an amount of time, that would be called an isometric hold. You can apply an isometric hold to pretty much any kind of exercise that you do. If you're doing like a shoulder press, you can press and just hold it for as long as you want. You could do, like, I do a lot of isometric pauses with squats. I'll go down all the way to the bottom and I'll just sit there, tensing my muscles, flexing my feet into the ground, just holding it. So that's an isometric hold, is where you're just staying still, generating force. And there's going to be a couple of more moves, at least one more move, that asks you to do an isometric hold. So I'll just demonstrate one real quick for the glute bridge. This will be a glute bridge isometric hold. I'm going to really tilt that pelvis. Right now my tailbone is off the ground. Really, my whole pelvis is off the ground, really, except for the very top of it. I'm going to scoop my hips up and I'm going to hold at the top. And so on and so on and so on. You get the idea. Now, the glute bridge march starts off like this. And what you're going to do, and actually what I like to do, I don't know if you'll be able to see, but I like to come up on my heels for a glute bridge march, just because I'm going to be lifting and lowering my legs. So I'm going to try to keep that tilt the whole time. And really what I'm thinking about right now, I'm sort of thinking about pushing my core into my hips and pushing my hips into my core. So I'm really trying to create a lot of compression right here, because this is where I want my stability to come from. Okay? I need this to be stable so that I can move these. I'm going to come down as gently as I can on that heel. Try to be in control the whole time. You don't want to be dropping, and you don't want to be rushing through and kicking up like this. You also don't want to be losing your tilt in between reps. So now will be a good time to remind you that whatever it says in your exercise guide as far as sets and reps are concerned, those are recommendations. They're not set in stone. You know, you're not gonna not gain muscle if you don't follow them to the T. I put them in there and I made them very vague and broad on purpose, because, you know, I don't know how strong you are. I don't know how bad off your knee is. I don't know if you have any imbalances or not. I didn't know any of that. So if you start to lose that tilt after, you know, just a couple of marches on each side, I don't want you to get discouraged. I just want you to remember that your safety is the number one priority, and then the number two priority is just stimulating your muscles. So whether you stimulate your muscles with 1 rep or 5 seconds versus 12 reps or 60 seconds, it doesn't matter. You got to start from somewhere. So the sets and the rep ranges, your first few workouts, I mean, you may not have any even kind of semblance of any kind of like consistent set and rep scheme, because you're just trying to figure it out for yourself. So, and I mean, if you need guidance, if you ever want to like do a session together, I'm not going to charge you for anything, so that we can kind of like walk through that together. Please let me know if that's something that you want to do. But at least your first time doing these exercises, you're going to be figuring them out. So don't worry about sets and reps. Worry about feeling the exercise and not hurting yourself. All right, so next one I'm going to do, I'll go ahead and do the banded lateral walk. So I have bands that are like this. They're like the big rubber bands. Hopefully you have the same, because I kind of like these better than the ones that are just like the tubing with the 2 big handles on the side. But no matter what you have, we can make them work either way. So if you have the ones that's just the 1 piece of tubing with the handles, you can just step on it and then cross it like this, okay? And then what you're gonna do, and I've got this under the arches of my feet, and this may be an exercise actually that you may want to put shoes on for. Any of the ones that have the band under your foot, so this one or the banded Bulgarian split squat, you may want to put shoes on if you can't handle the feel of the bands on the bottom of your feet. Or you can just cross them like that, and then you'll choose the direction to go in. So I'm gonna go this way, and I'm gonna go left foot out, right foot in, left foot out, right foot in, left foot out, right foot in. If you have a band like I have, there's all kinds of things you can do with it. You can just step like this, and you can like raise the band to make it tighter. When I do it, I'll cross it like this just to make it even more tighter, and then bring it above my head like that. You can also, something else you can do is you can like put it over like this, like some suspenders, and you can make it even harder if you want, just by stretching the bands like that. Okay. Whole time, slow and controlled. You want to be in control the whole time. You want to feel like you can stop the motion at any time. All right, and when you're taking that, so not the steps, so not this step, but when you take this step in, you don't want it to just come crashing back in. You want to be, like I said, in control the whole time, setting your feet down under control. Next one is the Bulgarian Romanian deadlift. So I'll show you both of the Romanian deadlifts together, since there's 2. So Romanian deadlift is basically a split-legged deadlift with your back leg up. The technical name for a Bulgarian, I'm sorry, wait a minute. I'm getting all my Eastern European lifts all mixed up. a Bulgarian split squat. Okay? A Bulgarian split squat is when you have your feet split and your back foot up and you bend your front leg. So the technical name for a Bulgarian split squat is a rear foot elevated split squat. Okay? So I'll show you the banded version first, and then I'll show you the Bulgarian Romanian. So, and I'll also go ahead and just show you a regular old split squat, just in case the Romanian version, just in case the Bulgarian version is too hard for you right now. So, split squat is just one foot in front of the other. You can come up on your back toes, but you want your front foot all the way flat. And then you're just going to bend your knees. Back knee is going to go straight down. Front knee is going to go out in front. And you'll go as far as you can. The rear foot elevated version not only increases the range of motion, but it also increases the requirements for balance as well. It makes it harder for you to balance. So I got a chair right here. You'll just have to find what distance works best for you. You'll probably find that you'll have to start out a little further out the first time that you do this, or the first however many times that you do this, because you're going to need more balance. You're going to need a wider base. But as your balance improves, you'll find that you'll be able to bring that foot in closer and closer, which is going to allow you to be stronger. Because if you think about it, you're stronger when you're more tucked in like this, as opposed to when you're extended. All right. So actually, I'll turn this way so you can see. So, and how you put your foot is up to you. You can lie it flat like this, or you can put your toes like this is usually easier. And back knee goes down, front knee goes front. As far as you can. The banded version of this is you just putting the band under your foot and then using the resistance. Because as you come up, the band is going to get tighter and it's going to get harder for you to extend. So there's a few ways you can apply the band. If you have a handle band, the easiest way is to just put it under your foot like this. If you need more resistance though, you can tie it around your foot like that. Just make sure you don't do it too tight so that you don't, like cut all the circulation off, or like slice your foot off with your band or something. That wouldn't be good. If you have a circle band, the way that I usually do it is I will, and then I'll whoop again until I have a little guy like this, and then I'll slide him under like that. And then I'll get on my chair over here. I know you can't see it, but that back leg is on the chair. Alright, and I'll come down, up, and I'll try to really extend that knee. I'll try to lock out that front knee. So you may not feel much resistance at the bottom, but you'll definitely feel it at the top. And I'll just say two things right quick. You don't have to do that with a band. You can do it without a band. You can just do it with no added weight at all, just your bare hands. You can do 2 dumbbells if you're feeling frisky, if you're feeling up to it. You can do 1 dumbbell. You can do, right foot forward, left hand has the dumbbell, that would be a contralateral. You could do right foot forward, right hand has the dumbbell, that would be an ipsilateral. You could take the dumbbell like this here, and that would be a rack position, and do your squats like that. You could have your dumbbell like this and have it hanging down. That's called a goblet position. So the possibilities are, not necessarily endless, but the possibilities are more than just that band if it's not comfortable for you, or you're just not feeling it. Bulgarian Romanian deadlift. So in your exercise guide I showed you Romanian deadlifts. It's basically a hip hinge like in your warm-up, except you have your hands down because you're going to be more than likely holding weight. Or if you're doing the one-legged version, you've probably got one arm going down towards your leg and the other arm possibly like out here to give yourself some balance. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to combine the rear leg elevated Bulgarian position with that hip hinge. So we're basically going to be doing a one-legged Romanian deadlift just with our rear leg elevated. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, Steven, hold up. When I do my one-legged Romanian deadlifts, my rear leg is elevated. True, but it doesn't start that way. So what's going to happen is when you elevate it on the chair and you have it elevated the whole time, you're going to start out with more of a stretch back here. So it's going to be a different stimulus. Like it's going to be harder to balance because you're not going to be able to generate as much force to begin your descent by flexing that hip and creating stability. Because an extended muscle is a weak muscle. So when I extend this leg behind me, I've now put a stretch in this hip. And I'm going to come down like this, so actually, boop, boop, boop. And then I come down, ooh, like this. If you want to slide a band under your feet, you're more than welcome to. If you want to do 1 dumbbell or 2 dumbbells, you're more than welcome to. I would not recommend doing a rack position for this, because you'd probably face plant. But try it with the no weight version first, just to get that motion down and to really work on that balance. So next we're going to do the terminal knee extension and the knee stabilization complex. So you're going to need something to anchor your band to. So if you have handle band, there's a couple ways you can do it. You can I've seen people put the handles like they stand by a doorway, and they'll slide the handles into the door and close the door on the handles, so that the handles are on one side of the closed door, and then on the other side is the bands that you slide your leg in and use like that. There's other ways, like you might be able to, so depending on what kind of handles you have, you may or may not be able to loop the handles through one another to make like a to make like one of these guys like this, basically. I don't know if you'd be able to loop your handles through one another. If you can't, a way to work around that would be to get like some really strong fabric, and then tie the fabric in a loop through the handle, tie it really tight, and then you can sort of work the handle through that fabric. You just have to make it the right size, and then you can kind of make one of these guys here. So whatever you need to do with that, it's a lot easier if you have one of these circle bands like this. And I'm actually gonna reposition. We got this nice little olive tree right here that I'm gonna use as an anchor, and I'm not gonna go super hard because I don't want to hurt the tree. So I'm going to tie it about knee height. I'm tied about knee height, and I'm going to step through it with one leg. So if having the band on the crease of your knee is uncomfortable, you can put it a little bit higher. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it just above my knee. All right. So this is the starting position for either exercise, the terminal knee extension or the knee stabilization complex. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to let the band pull me, so you can control how much tension you have in the band. If I want to make this harder, I can back up even more. I don't want to stretch the tree out too much, so I'm not going to do that. If it's too hard, you can always walk in and take some tension off the band. All right, so I've got the band tense. I'm going to let it pull my knee forward, and then I'm going to lock that knee joint out. Pull it forward, lock it out. But Steven, wait, hold up. Lock it out. Oh no, I heard that was horrible. I heard that that's going to make my knees explode. Locking out your joints is not healthy. It's not. You're not supposed to. Actually, that is all false information. Your joints are actually stronger when you lock them out, because like I told you in the video about the weighted carries, got that motherfucker, about locking out your elbows when you have the weights. You have to flex muscle in order to lock out your joints. So the more muscle you flex, the more stability you create in that limb and around that joint. All right. Now, you don't want to be locking out your joints. Let's say, like, if you go to the gym and you get on a leg press machine and you throw on, 2,000 pounds, you don't want to be locking out under a whole lot of weight. You don't want to be locking out in order to land from like a jump. There's definitely times where you don't want to lock out your knee, but this is not one of them. Okay, this is to get the muscles around that joint stronger, because the more work you can make your muscles do, the less it makes your bones and your tendons and your ligaments and things like your meniscus take on more of the workload. All right, so yes, we're going to lock that knee joint out. Let it slide forward. Boom. Lock it out. Hold it for a second. Forward. Lock it out. If you want to, if it's too hard the way it is, you can always hold on to something for support. You can bring that chair over next to you and hold on to it. If you want to make it harder, you can lift up your other leg. Knee forward. Lock it out. Forward. Lock it out. You can hold on to a chair with one leg up to make that slightly easier. All right. Next one, knee stabilization complex. more than welcome to do both of these. You don't have to do either or every time you do your lower body workout. And like I said earlier, the sets and the reps are just recommendations. So remember, this is one of your main exercises, and this is your last chance to really warm up that knee joint before you do something more difficult that's going to have you flexing your knee a lot. So really, don't be afraid to really, take these moves seriously and to really push yourself and do a bunch of reps. Like, I mean, if you fly through those 25 reps that I have recommended for the terminal knee extension, do 50. Who's stopping you? All right. So knee stabilization complex. I'm going to start facing the wall or the pole or whatever I have. I'm going to face my anchor point. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my weight to the leg without the band, and then I'm going to slowly and under control lift this leg behind me with a locked knee. Then I'm going to come back under control. I'm going to turn one way or the other. So I'll turn this way. You could have turned the other way. It doesn't matter. Right now, banded leg is in front. I'm going to lift it away from my body. So I'm going to shift my weight onto this leg. Lift it away from my body. Under control with a locked knee. Then I'm going to keep turning. Now I'm facing away from my anchor point. I'm going to lift this leg out in front, which is going to be kind of awkward because I have little bricks in front of me. So I'm going to, okay, I can do it without bending my knee. You don't want to bend your knee, but I thought I was going to have to demonstrate. Shift your weight, locked knee. I know that looks bad, but it's because of those bricks right there that I had to avoid. And then you're going to turn one more time. And I'm going to bring banded leg in front this way. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm going to bring it behind this way. And then I'm going to turn. So that's one rep of the complex. If you want to keep the band around that leg and do a couple of more reps of the complex, you're more than welcome to. Or if you want to switch to the other leg, you're more than welcome to do that as well. Again, it's a slow and controlled, knees locked out as much as possible. If you need to hold on to something, I would actually recommend, if you have something like a baseball bat or like a broom or something that you can sort of hold on to and dig into the ground, or if you want to just drag a chair around with you, that would be a little more cumbersome, but you got to do what you got to do sometimes. So that's it for those. Ow. Next, whoa. So next we have a couple of leg extensions. So this is going to be an isometric hold. I apologize. Well, actually, so that you don't have to, so that my feet aren't going to be right in your face. And you'll just sit in the chair, knees bent. You're going to really push down with your hips because you're going to be coming up onto them. Your feet are going to be coming up off the ground. So what you don't want is, when you lift your feet, to be flopping back like that. You want to be leaning forward with your upper body as much as you can, okay? Even if you do wind up leaning back some, you don't want to do it on purpose and you don't want to do it excessively, all right? And you can grab onto that chair as well for some extra stability and support. And then when you're ready, so I just took a nice little breath in, and I'm tensing. I've got my intra-abdominal pressure. Whenever you're ready, you're just gonna extend your feet or extend your legs. I'm pointing my feet. You can't see. I'm pointing them out in front of me like a ballerina. So I'll go ahead and do it. Doopy doopy doo. They're like this. This is called plantar flexion. They're not like this, which is called dorsiflexion. And I'm just gonna hold that for as long as I can. It's an isometric hold. If you can't hold it for very long, you can just do isometric hold reps. So, I mean, if you can only hold it for 5 seconds to start, oh God. Just bring them back, take a breath, get ready, boom. And just do a few reps like that, and that can count as a set. Again, lock out those knees. Lock them out. Flex all the muscles around your knees. Feel them flexing. Make sure your knee comes out as straight as you can. Your knees aren't going to explode. You're not going to die. All right. Next one, standing one leg extension. So, what you're going to do here, you're going to lift one leg at a time. So I'm going to lift this leg. So I'm going to shift my weight onto this leg. I'm really on a tripod with that foot. I'm going to brace with my core, push down, shift my weight. I'm going to come up like this, extend, lock, hold it for a second, back down, extend, lock, hold it, come back down. You can put your foot down in between each rep. You can alternate if you want to do it like that. Completely up to you. If you need some balance, no shame in that game. I would just recommend switching the balance from when you go from side to side. So like that would mean either bringing the chair with you from side to side, or you can, so here, lift left leg. Now I just turn around to do my right leg. And last one is going to be the seated on the floor, one-legged leg raise. So you're going to sit on the floor. And just like how when you were sitting in the chair, I told you I don't want you coming all the way back purposely or excessively. I want you leaning forward as far as you can for this one and for that one. However, you're more than likely going to come back a little bit. Just try not to, do it on purpose. So, just like with that one, we're going to push down. This time we just don't have a chair to grab onto. I'm going to really, really, really push down with my hips into the ground. And we're going to go one leg. You're not going to be able to go up far, but that's okay. As long as you're locking out, and as long as you are doing that really, really, really doing that plantar flexion, and I mean do it hard, man, do it hard. Really, really, really point those toes. Okay? And again, try not to lean back. If you want to turn this into an isometric, or even like if you want to add that on to the end of one of your sets. So let's say your last set you've done, you're going to do 10 on each side. So here we go. This is 19. Or actually, you're doing 10 on each side, right? So 18, 19. Oh, I'm going to hold it. And then 20. Oh, I'm going to hold it. Okay? You can incorporate isometric pauses like that. You can do like a 3-second pause for every single rep that you do. Yeah, the possibilities really, really, really just keep going and going and going. So hopefully that will set you up more or less for your entire lower body stuff. I still got upper body to do, and I'll probably get that to you next.